300 metres left to go, and he's doing so easily. Parisian walkways under pressure to quicken. Then Baynak is behind that, but it's still the Equator as they go past the final 150s, clear by 2 or 3 lengths into the last bit, and it's the Equator in front, stays on gamely, and it's a beautiful prep run for the Equator into the Betway Summer Cup.
I remember when I was a kid listening to, I think it was called The Holiday Inn, listening to Elevation when I think his third
You won
one.
3, yeah.
Yeah, I remember listening to it on the radio with my parents. Never did I think that I would be the part owner of the favourite for it. And I definitely didn't think that when I was running around training horses at Randkiesfontein. So yeah, it's a huge kick, Andrew, I have to admit. And I can now understand why people do it. I really can. It's an amazing feeling. I mean, when that horse went over the line in the Pinnacle Plate.
200 metres left to go, and it's the Equator on the lead. Down the inside is King's Express. Behind that comes Hot to Ruby. The Equator. King's Express is back in second, but the son of Galileo gets it all right today. Another one for Gavin Lerena as the Equator beat King's Express.
When he won that 1800, all of a sudden this became a possibility. When he won the mile, it is one hell of a kick. And I think that's, if you could bottle it and sell it, racing would be packed every week. But I now understand why guys like Greg and Lawrence Verners and Mary and everybody else, why they spend money trying to win these big races. It is a whole different. It's just a whole different level. You feel.
Andrew, I think it's a feeling that you can't actually describe. I mean, there's jubilation, there is the relief of the anxiety just before the race starts.
I love that word, relief, to get the horse home across the line safely.
Well, that's the job of the jockey and the jockeyship that goes along with it. But yeah, I mean, to stand there and knowingly that you have a chance of winning a race, and then it really happens. It's something you can't describe to anybody. If you don't encounter it, it's impossible to describe it to anybody else.
So what happened was we decided we were going to go and have an investigative search at Tattersalls, the November sales. I'd never been. So the reality is, while we were there, we went to Coolmore and we saw a horse called Mountain Bear, who had won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We decided we were buying Little Mountain Bear, whatever he was called. Okay.
Do you think it helped the fact that you were once a racehorse trainer, that you own a stud farm, and that you're an advocate?
Definitely, as a racehorse trainer and a stud farm owner, I couldn't have afforded Little Mountain Bear, whatever his name was, or half of him. But yeah, it was amazing. He was the most beautiful horse. But what happened was, every time we went to look at him, because he must have been, I don't know, 6 or 7 times, we kept seeing this other horse that was stable next to him, which was the Equator. And I stopped my partner from bidding at about 320,000 euros, because once you start doing the conversion, which the accountant in me was doing, it got a bit scary. And the next thing I knew, we bought the Equator. Willem bought it very quietly and very non-flashy, and that was it. The Equator arrived.
How does that compare to this involvement with this beast, this 500 kilogram beast carrying a 60 kilogram jockey on its back at 65 kilometers an hour around a track? How do you describe that?
I think doing business is one thing. Horse racing, I think, is something totally different.
Unique.
It is absolutely unique. Quality over quantity is what it should be all about. And I understand these people that's got a lot of racehorses.
But you've got to make the mistakes.
Well, unfortunately, you've got to burn your fingers and learn the hard way. Once you've done that, then sometimes, you know what, it's a lot easier to take a step back when everybody else is like, we want this. Take a step back, reassess it, and then move forward from there.
But it's still the Equator as they go past the final 150s, clear by 2 or 3 lengths into the last bit, and it's the Equator in front, stays on gamely, and it's a beautiful prep run for the Equator into the Betway Summer Cup.